May the odds be ever in your favor. Raise a three-finger salute if you know what that reference is to. Most people will, and that's because it's only from one of the hugest blockbusters of this decade, The Hunger Games. Novel turned movie, the first film dropped in 2012, and the sequel, Catching Fire, just dropped a few months ago. The sequel, Catching Fire, is set to be the top-grossing movie of 2013, which is amazeballs because it features a strong female lead protagonist that goes by the name of Katniss Everdeen. I would argue that she's one of the most intricate female characters I've ever read. She's rough, yet caring, vulnerable, and stubborn. She's a contradiction. She really challenges a lot of the stereotypes that people think of when they hear the word woman. She's a role model for our generation, especially our young women. I'm going to skip the plot summary, although, girl, could we be here dishing for days about this trilogy. But I trust that most of you already know the gist. If not, links will be in the doobly-doo. So what the hell is this video about? I am quick to praise as a die-hard fan of the series, but I'm going to put my social justice lens on and get down to the nitty-gritty of a situation that's been bothering me for a really long time. Whitewashing. Whitewashing is a practice that's used particularly in the entertainment industry, where they take a character, like in the novels, that was previously a person of color and they replace them with a white actor. As a reading connoisseur, I did not have to dig very far for my research material. Katniss Everdeen, in the first novel of the series, is described as having olive skin and straight black hair, as well as resembling the other families that work in the mines and live in the seam, compared to the wealthier merchant families who are described as fair-skinned and blonde. Why is this important? Because the casting breakdown for Katniss was listed as such. She should be Caucasian between ages 15 and 20, who could portray someone underfed but strong, and naturally pretty underneath her tomboyishness. I'm going to try to stay away from the second half of that sentence and focus on the biggest issues here. Caucasian? Really? Let me get this straight. She's described as having olive skin, straight black hair, living in a marginalized community where they are forced to work in undesirable, dangerous conditions, and she can only be white. What? I would not be so aggravated at this casting decision had they left it open for more than just white women to audition. You might be thinking, I don't get it, why is this a problem? J-Law killed it. Which I think she did. She did a very good job at portraying Katniss. But that's not what I have a problem with. My problem is in the fundamental issue of only allowing Caucasian women to audition for, at the very least, a racially ambiguous character. Reading The Hunger Games, I felt a real kinship with Katniss. I saw a lot of myself in her, and even her smallest characteristics mimicked my own. Most of all, I saw myself in her physical appearance. It's not often that we get a woman of color lead, especially not one that many women of color can see themselves in. So why did they only audition white women and then have their choice actress dye her hair and bronze her skin? We all know that there are plenty of qualified women actresses that are of color that could have blown those casting directors away had they been given the chance. The movie industry is sending a message loud and clear. If a character does not explicitly say, I am black, I am native, I am Hispanic, I am Asian, then they're white. And this sort of white normativity is so detrimental to our society and our young people. Diversity and representation are so important, especially when your audience is youth. Novel Katniss Everdeen was flexible enough to look like me or you. It's really a shame that the director decided to cast a white woman and then use makeup and hair dye to color her in. It's even more of a shame when we see the continued whitewashing of this trilogy with Finnick and Johanna. So what can we do? We can speak out when we see this happening. We can support women of color that are directors and actresses and producers and screenwriters. We can still watch The Hunger Games and like it. You can go see Mockingjay if you want to. It's okay. The first step to making any sort of change is acknowledging it, your part in it, and then deciding to learn about it. If you're interested in reading more about whitewashing, particularly in the Hunger Games trilogy, I have attached links in the doobly-doo, and I encourage you to go read and learn more. Please do. Have a beautiful day, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Bye, lovelies!